there are at least half a dozen different ways of capital offense. First of all, let us do the definition. There is a difference between lifetime term and death sentence. Lifetime means that the convict, lifetime means that from the day somebody is convicted to the day that person will die naturally, he or she is a prisoner. The state will not have a hand in his or her death. Okay, we have had cases where somebody has been jailed for life and another prisoner in the same prison kills him or her. Well, that is a crime that a certain prisoner has killed another prisoner. The prison authority have no part in that death. So life imprisonment is meant that the person who has been convicted and sentenced to life term, it means that from the time that person is convicted, subject to the optional rule of appeal. You see, you can be convicted and be given an opportunity and time to appeal, and you don't appeal. But what all legal systems do is that once somebody has been convicted of any offense, including the ones I'm covering in these recordings, the convict is allowed to appeal. So the sentence will never take place until the convict appeals. So somebody is convicted of life imprisonment. The person will be in jail from the day he or she has been convicted to the day he or she dies in a natural way, or if it is not a natural way, then the government or the prison authorities have no hand in his or her death. I've given an example of another prisoner killing a prisoner in jail. That is not the government that has done that. The other prisoner will now face a murder charge. There is also cases, maybe you're being moved from one prison to another, you have a road accident or anything. So what the prison authority is supposed to do to a person who has been convicted and jailed for life is to have that person enjoy all his or her constitutional rights except one: freedom. The person will have a place to sleep. The person will have food to eat. If the person is sick, the person will be treated at the cost of the state. If the person wants to undergo other trainings, let's say further education, he or she will undergo that at the expense of. But generally, the prison authority is supposed to keep that person healthy until the day that he or she dies through any way, but not a prison or state sanctioned killing, dying. So that is a lifetime. You'll be a prisoner for the rest of your. It is not like other prisoners who will say, if I leave prison, I'll be a farmer, or if I leave prison, I'll be a preacher, or if I leave prison. There is no living in prison. You leave the prison as you leave the world. I hope you understand where I say that life sentence is that you'll be a prisoner for the rest of your days on earth. Then there is the death sentence. You see, that is life imprisonment or life sentence. Now there is the death sentence. Death sentence means that you will be killed by the state in a manner that is approved by the legislator of that state. I repeat again, death sentence means that you will be killed by the state. You will be killed by the state. The prison authorities will kill you. This means that if maybe there is a prison fight or anything, whatever, and one of the prisoners killed a prisoner on death row, you cannot say that he has assisted the government do it. No, no, no. The other person, the other prisoner will undergo a criminal proceeding for killing another person. That is why they say that by the state, in a manner approved by the state. Even if you wake up early, there are those times when the prison order tells you, okay, let's go. You are given, I don't know, 20 minutes time to bask in the sun. And then when they want to return you to the cells, you resist. And the prison warder manhandles you to an extent that you die. That is not the prescribed way. The prescribed way, we will come to that, and that is what is around 5 or 6 ways that if you die in any other way than the prescribed way, there will be an inquest, and if anybody is found guilty to have participated in your death, that person will be charged with either murder or manslaughter. In a case of life, in a case, I've said that in such cases you are allowed to exhaust. For example, you are not supposed to be killed by the state if you have not exhausted your appeal. If you are convicted by a magistrate, you go to high court. If the high court passes something and you are not happy, you go to court of appeal, all the way to the Supreme Court. So when you have completed the Supreme Court, you are allowed by many countries, to appeal to the head of state for clemency. Once the head of state, in some countries, the head of state can do it out of his or her own volition. But in many cases, we have a presidential committee of clemency. So you go to that, you appeal to that committee, the committee can forgive you. For example, there was even a case, I can't remember very well, whereby somebody had been convicted to be hanged, and it reached a time, in the early 80s, late 80s and early 90s, he was found to be HIV positive, and when he appealed, he was given clemency by saying, there is no way. It is not like today. Today you can live positively. Yeah? That is what they say. HIV positive, living positive these days. But those days, HIV/AIDS was a death sentence. So this person was set free because it was obvious that he was going to die. Say, let him go and die peacefully at home. Although there is a hidden secret there that the prison warders sometimes used to complain. There are some sickness which you are so sick, and you see, especially in a death sentence, you are not supposed to be executed when you have any underlying medical issue. So if you are really sick and for a long time, the prison warders used to suffer because it is them who will be in jail and not you, because they have to wake you up in the morning, brush your teeth, wash you, do whatever. So they'd say that they would silently talk to the Presidential Clemency Committee to forgive you so that you are taken to your people do that extra work. So that is what I said, that you have to exhaust all the appeals. After you have exhausted all your appeals, the state is free to terminate your life at the earliest legally accepted day. Once you appeal, you even appeal to the Presidential Clemency Committee, and your appeal is unsuccessful, the thing is the prison authority have the authority to kill you at the next chance that comes in. I remember sometimes back, I don't know whether it was on Tuesday or Thursday. Can't recall which one was it. But they used to hang people in Kamiti, the largest prison in Kenya. They used to hang people on, is it Tuesday or Thursday? Let's take one of them. So on that day, assuming that it is Tuesday and today is Monday, if you exhaust your appeals on the eve of next hanging, then the prison authorities can hang you in the next available day. Although there are some process that they used to do, in such cases, but on paper they are legally allowed to hang you, terminate your life in the next available day. Power of clemency in each state has its jurisdiction about who can exercise those powers. But in many countries, it is the head of state. You'll find a country like USA, the president can only grant clemency on matters that are federal in nature. But you'll find that most of the people in on death row in the USA are usually forgiven, if at all they are forgiven, by the state governor. During the killing, if God knows how, during the killing, if God knows why and how you survive. During the killing, if a magic thing happens and you don't die, that is why I say during the killing, if for reasons that only God knows why and how you survive, all laws worldwide is that you will be taken to the either HDU or ICU to try and revive you. And once you are revived, you'll be forgiven for that. You'll be forgiven for that. Because in law, we have a law that says someone cannot be tried twice for the same offense. For example, and I want to give you an example, you have been charged with killing Albert, you have been charged with killing Ben, you have been charged with killing Charles, and you have been charged with killing David, plus even maybe Edward. Now, you will be taken to the gallows to be hanged, to be killed, let me use the word killed, by the state for the offense of killing Albert. Now, if that system goes through, immediately that person has been killed. Can I say killed? There is a medical person who checks on the body. There is a medical person who checks on the body. Any death, a person is not dead until the doctors, a medical profession, what do you call, a medical profession certifies it as until a medical personnel certifies that to be dead. That is why you hear people saying that he was declared dead on arrival or something. A person is not dead until a medical officer says that person is dead. Now, after undergoing those various forms of termination of the life, because each country has its own way, and you'll find that in the USA, various states do differently. In some states in the USA, there is those who face electric chair, and in some states in the USA, there are those who get the lethal injection. There are those who go to gas chamber. It depends from state to state. Now, when you have gone through that, a doctor is called upon, or a medical profession is called upon to declare you dead. So the doctor will come up with a stethoscope and other things. And if the doctor finds that the heart is still beating, he will declare the person is not dead. He'll declare the person is still alive. Then there'll be an emergency. The person will be taken to emergency medical facilities to try and revive him or her. And if he or she, because you can go through all these things and then survive, and then after some time, maybe an hour, a day, or even a week, you die. That is gone. But if they do the resuscitation, is it called that? If they do that and you survive, and become alive, then you will be set free, unless and until the the courts are holding you on any other reasonable thing. Now, which is this other reasonable thing? Remember, you are convicted for killing Albert, but then at the same time, you are also convicted for killing Ben, Charles, David, Edward, and Francis. So they'll now take you again to the gallows. Now you are going to be hanged for. So if you can be lucky to survive all those ways until you reach Zachariah, so be it. So you cannot go. If you are charged with killing one person and you survive that, and there is no other person you have been charged the second or third, then you'll be released. But again, you could have been charged, you could have been convicted with that. I think some people may even be wondering, why is it that somebody has been convicted of capital offense to be hanged, and then at the same time the person has been charged with forgery or anything? That is how it comes in. You may survive the death penalty through the appeals or through the president's, the head of state's clemency. You can survive that. But again, you have not been forgiven for these other charges. The charge of you have been charged with killing. Okay, that one you are forgiven because maybe the president forgave you, or you won in an appeal. But at the time when you are being convicted, you are also convicted with stealing by servant. I want to give you a picture where you are a servant that you are trying to steal from your employer, and then your employer comes and you kill the employer, and then so you'll be charged with stealing from your employer and also killing the employer. Now, when killing the employer, you win the case, or you are given clemency. It does not cover subsequent charges. So if there is a second, third, or even fourth charges that does not deal with that, then you'll serve the other one. And if you are taken to be hanged and you don't die, then you'll go for the second charge, which may be another murder or any other offense like what I said, stealing by servant or any other offense. But if it is only that, and and you win that, you will be released there and then. you find that for the purpose of education, let us say that you have been charged with killing 3 people. You go there for Albert. When they do that, you survive. Then again, they'll try the second time for Ben. You fail that, they go for Charles. You fail that, they go for David. From there, they go to Edward. They go to Francis, and they'll continue that way until, if possible, Zachariah. That is how it is. Why is it called capital offense? Why is death sentence called capital offense? Capital comes from the biggest thing. We have capital letter and small letters. We have the capital city. So capital offense is the biggest offense, and the biggest offense uh, uh, has its biggest punishment. Which other punishment is bigger than being killed by the state? I don't think so. Even life sentence, uh, it's not. It is nearing the capital, but it is not really the capital. So that is why it is called capital offense, because it is the biggest capital. Remember, it's the biggest, isn't it? The biggest offense that introduces the biggest punishment. That is why it is called capital offense. During your last days, you are given privileges that even people in the outside world may not get it. And during that time, you are asked, do you want to meet any person? Do you want to meet any person? And whoever you want to meet will be brought to prison. And it is the prison authority that will fund for that person to come to visit you during your last day. You'd say, hey, my favorite grandson, who shares the 3 names like me, I would want him to come and visit me on my last day. You'd say anything, and the prison authority will foot for the expenses of bringing that person. You will get the first class counseling. Remember, you are not supposed, the state is not supposed to terminate your life. The state is not supposed to terminate your life when you are stressed or anything. You get the first class counseling. You will get meals of your liking. And I said you will meet whoever you want at the expense of the prison. But your request has got to be reasonable. Your request has got to be reasonable, because if it is on your last day and you say you want the prison authority to bring Obama to come and talk to you on your last day, that is impossible. It is impossible in more than one ways. How do you convince Obama to come all the way to committee? What expenses would that be and whatever? So your request has got to be reasonable. If you have a grandson who shares this, your favorite grandson who shares your name, and he stays in Lokichar, or stays in Ramu, then the state can organize for that. But your request has got to be reasonable and within budget. You cannot demand to have one-on-one meeting with the head of state. I've said about Obama. You can also not say that before I'm killed, I want to have a meeting with, if you are in Uganda, you want to meet Joel Kaguta Museveni. Oh, no, no, no. I said, and you can also not demand. You see, someone can say, okay, my last meal, I want a pie. A pie. A pie for what? A pie made out of cobra meat. You see, you have to make requests that are reasonable. In Kenya, when we used to have the hanging people, there was a case, I learned of it when I was a police officer, whereby a woman, a married woman, with her lover, planned and killed her husband. The plan was, when the husband is dead, then they can marry or something like that. But as they say, no crime is perfect. So they were both convicted of the killing the woman's husband, and both of them were to be hanged on the same day. Both of them were asked if they have any special request, and they both said that they be given an opportunity for the last day conjugal facility. Of course, that one was denied because, as I said, and I've said it several times, that in such a situation, you have to request something that is reasonable and within the powers of those people. And so their request was denied. Now we are going to see the types of gallows that people face worldwide. There could be two or more than what I've said, but generally these are the few that are there. We have French used to have something that called is guillotine. Guillotine. This was a certain machine that was made in such a way that somewhere here there is a circle. There is a circle, wooden. So your head is placed between those circles. Your head is placed within those circles, and then you are held tight and you are tied. And then up there, there is a very sharp metallic object that is like a panga. It's like a panga. It's like a machete, but even bigger than a machete and stronger than a machete. So you sleep, you'd have your head that way, and that would be left. And it comes with a lot of force and with a lot of, and the metal is very sharp. So that when it comes that down with that force and with that speed and with that sharpness of of the metal thing, within seconds, your head and your neck is cut into two. Half of your neck goes with your head, and half of your neck remains with that. That is what is called guillotine. It used to be happening in French countries. I don't think it is still there, and if it is there, it is in very few countries. The second one is called an electric chair. An electric chair, you are placed in an armchair, which is just okay. They tie you properly, strongly, so that you do not escape or anything. Uh, when you are tied, you can't move a lot. They do okay. Even in the guillotine and all these other system, all there is last time prayers, whatever, whatever, and then the preacher goes out. Hey, if I would have been a preacher, I would have accepted to be that in a prison. Anyway, the preacher preaches for you and does whatever, then moves aside. Then the seat that you are seated, your body has some wiring, electric wiring on your body, positive and negative. And it is calculated that a human being can get. So I'm not good in physics, that a human being can be so good in, can only survive electric power of a certain voltage. So there is a calculation that they have done. So in a certain, you'll shake, and in a few minutes you are dead. That is the electric chair. And as I said, and I'll keep on saying, in both guillotine, there's no record of head not coming out. And even with that one, hey, even if you survive, I think the person who survives longest survives for 15 seconds. Electric chair, if you survive, then I've already said that you you cannot be taken back to the electric chair for a second charge of power, because that would mean that you are suffering twice for one offense. And in law they say atrophos acquit and atrophos convict. So it is you have already had an atrophos, you have been charged and whatever, and you are sentenced to electric chair. So you cannot again face the second on the very. Now, if last time you killed Mike, and now you have been taken to the electric chair because you killed Nicholas or Obadiah or Paul, then that one is accepted. But if you killed Nicholas and you went through the electric chair and you survived, you cannot go through the electric chair for the second time. The third one is gassing. Gassing, you are taken to a booth. For my age mates, you know about the telephone booths. But for people of this age, especially women, you know, when you go to a shop and you want to buy a dress, there is that room you enter there to see if the dress fits you, isn't it? That is a booth. So you enter such a booth that is sealed properly. And at the time when, at the appropriate time, the executioner switches on a certain thing and the gases fill in that cubicle you are in, and you inhale that gas. As I said, if you survive that, then you'll be left to go. Or if you have committed another capital offense, and you see this capital offense is just not killing people, even overthrowing the government, trying to overthrow, treasonable charges, robbery with violence, such serious offenses. If you have, if you had gone to bank X, and again, as you are continuing with the case with bank X, you again, the other charges starts with for bank Y, or even it is bank X but another branch, or even the same branch but another day. So that will be a different charge, and if you survive, you will still undergo that. Then there is a firing squad. Yes, firing squad. You are tied to a stake. You are tied to a stake. Stake are like these bows, is a fence unatengeneza round, and then you are tied there. It is a must that your face has to be placed. There's a hood that has to be placed on your head, and then 5 marksmen are placed there. They choose 5 marksmen to, I mean marksmen because when we were in Kiganjo or any other such training, there is a competition in shooting. And if you are a master shooter, you are called a marksman. So 5 marksmen, and when I say 5 marksmen, a woman who is very good in shooting is also a marksman. Or you can call her a markswoman if you want to. Then the 5 of them, 4 will have live bullets. 4 of them will have live bullets, and 1 of them will have a blank bullet. But then the one with a blank bullet, his or her gun has what we call blank bullet detachment. Blank bullet detachment. You know, if you shoot a blank bullet, you have to cock your gun again. If you're shooting 5 bullets, you have to cock 5 times. But there is an attachment that can be placed on your rifle such that, yes, your rifle is shooting a blank, but it will be discharging bullets as though it was a live bullet. So the 5 of you will be told, one of you has a blank, but you'll not know who it is. You will not know who it is. And then you are told to aim at that person. And when you aim at that person, you only shoot once. Only shoot once. That is why they say marksman. And you see, if you shoot once and you miss or anything, remember there is that thing I said, it will be considered that you have served your sentence. I talked that several times. I don't mind repeating it. You will be released unless you have another case to deal with, that be it a capital or anything. If you are pickpocket and you also have a charge of being in jail for 6 months, you'll be released and go to serve the 6 months on that petty crime. That is the firing squad. Then we have the poison injection. Poison injection. The poison injection, you are injected 3 different types of poison. There are 3 types of injection. They prepare you. It is a bit technical even to me, but it means that the first one just makes you maybe drunk or something. The second one relaxes your body, and then the third one stops your heart. So you are given 3 injections. It's like when you are in hospital, you are admitted and then you are supposed to be given 3 injections. Unaambiwa geuka pande, you are given an injection. Geuka pande, you are given, and then you are given the third one. And the third one, now for this person, the third one is they want to kill. The second and first one, you will see what is happening, but the body will not be yours. You will not feel the pain, you will not do anything, and your mind will even know what is happening. But your body is such powerless that even if you wanted to carry up your hand and stop the person from further doing it, first of all, you'll not even be feeling the pain. But since you know what is happening, you have no power to. You cannot even raise your hand and try to stop the person from injecting you that. And these people have been trained such that you see, if you delay the second or third, it means that if you delay the second or third injection, it means that the third one will not work, and the person will die a very painful thing, of which the state will be charged with the pain that you went through. Then I after the last one is hanging. Hanging is the most commonest of all places. Hanging is there are several ways of hanging. Uh, a, a rope is tied in your neck. Then it goes up. In one way of hanging is that somebody somewhere pulls, somewhere pulls the rope. And I said, if the rope gets cut before you die, if they pull that end and it gets cut and you're suffocating there, they come and pull off the rope quickly and try to resuscitate you, because you cannot be convicted twice for the same offense. In any offense, you cannot be charged that on 16th July you stole Kamau's thing, and then again you are charged again at your 16th. You'd ask, was it the same Kamau or another Kamau? Or is it that I went to the same home the same day twice at the same time? But if it is found, you say atrophos convict or atrophos acquit. Now, if they hang you that way, and in all these ways, be it Golighton, be it electric chair, be it gassing, be it poison injection, be it firing squad, be it hanging. Now we are talking of hanging. They try to hang you, and somehow the rope was weak and it gets cut somewhere here. You fall down, and you don't die. You start diarrheaing and throwing your legs. They are supposed to release you immediately, and you are forgiven for that offense. Because if they try to hang you again the second time for that, that will be atrophos convict. Atrophos convict, in Latin they say, I was charged with the same offense, the same facts, and the same person, and whatever, and I was found guilty and I was convicted for hanging. So I cannot be hanged twice for the same offense. Now that is hanging. I wanted to talk about something that is called the proceedings before you are killed in those ways, Galatoin, whatever. Those are they 6 or 7? I even don't know. Now, before that, you have had the breakfast that you want. You have taken from that. You have a session with the preacher. The preacher preaches for you. If you are a Catholic, you are told to confess your sins. And when you have confessed, you have done that, then you do your Hail Mary. Hail Mary. Yeah? Me, I'm a Catholic. I'll say Hail Mary in Lingala. losako Maria utandi gracia mokonziazalina yo abemisio lokumu koleka basi nyonso mosantu Maria pesela biso masumu lelo na mokolo ya kokufa. Amen. So if you are a Catholic and you come from DRC like me, you say Hail Mary in Lingala, such and whatever, and then the padre stands aside. Or if it is a pastor, stands aside. If it is an imam, stands aside. Then you are killed in whatever way it was agreed, be it guillotine, be it electric chair, be it gassing, be it injection, be it firing squad, or be it hanging. Now, if they have done that in the way they are supposed to do it, then a doctor who is there comes there to check if you are dead or not. If you are not, as I said, you'll be rushed to HDU or ICU to try and revive you. But if the medical officer comes and declares you dead, then the preacher will now come again, now participate in your funeral rites. And that is how it is dealt there. As I said, the last day is regimental, and I've told you how it is regimental, such that it is, you have the best meal you want, you are consoled by a preacher. That one I've covered that, so that you are killed and you die. If you are hanged, I said, if the person is in jail for a double, triple, or even whatever hanging, then he or she undergoes another session of capital. For example, you have killed 2 people. Now you are being hanged for the first person. The firing squad, the guillotine, whatever, just mention it. All of them failed. What do they do? What they do is that you now undergo a second session for the second person. Now what happens? You see, you're almost dying. What they do is that they have to resuscitate you until you become normal. That one may even take 9 months, isn't it? Because you are on the verge of death. But you'll be weak. In many cases, I believe. You have been shot by 4 bullets and you have not died. Then they want to resuscitate you to be back to normal. Because it is illegal in all countries to take somebody to the killing chambers, be it these things even happen either in public or out of the public, it depending on the country. Now, if they have done that and you didn't die or whatever, you may end up being slightly sick or very ill. And if you are very ill, they'll start treating you until you come back to normal. You are not supposed to face your death sentence, even if there is proof that you have a headache. Although, if it is me, I'd be having a headache on every Thursday. Committee is hanging. Anyway, that's a joke. So they do that until you get cured completely. You see, it can take you even a year to be completely cured, because imagine 5 bullets on your body, or if it is gas chamber, your lungs are discolored and whatever, so they're bringing you back to normal. It will take a very long time. And then when you are back to normal, because I've said and I'll repeat, if you are not completely cured, if you are not completely healed, and the government takes you to hang you, what do you call, firing squad, to guillotine, to gas chamber, your people can sue the government for unyama. What do you call unyama in English? For inhuman treatment. Yeah, in English it's called inhuman, but in Swahili it's called unyama. After they have done all that, how do they dispose of the the corpse. It depends on the jurisdiction that the person has been killed. In Kenya, during the emergency, and even when they used to even when they used to hang, the last person to be hanged in Kenya was Ezekiel Ochuka. Ezekiel Ochuka was the last person to be hanged in Kenya in 1985. So in those days, during colonial days, nobody knows where Nani Field Marshal Dedan Kimathi's body was buried, because during Kenya's time, if you are if you are killed, if you are given capital punishment in prison, uh, the body was never surrendered to the relative. If it is any other case, we have cases of people who go to hospital, they get what do you call TB, they get malaria, they get any sickness, because even becomes sick. Everybody becomes sick. I've been sick for the last 6 weeks. I've not even properly recovered. So people become sick, and the people, when they are sick, they die. They die. So you can die at home, you can die on anywhere, you can even die in prison. If anybody who is serving a normal sentence dies in the prison, and the prison authority can trace his or her people, they are conducted to come and get his body. But capital offenses in Kenya, when we used to have it, when Kenya used to have capital offenses, uh, when Kenya used to have capital offenses, the families were never given bodies. I think even by now, Ochuka's family is still pursuing the Kenya government to give them his body for a reburial. Now, in some jurisdiction which still participate in that, I think it goes by jurisdiction. There are some countries where if someone is killed through capital offense, the body is never surrendered. Others, it is surrendered. So that one is uh, that one has got to be established by country to country case, and even that is why it is even hard to determine whether Nahashon Jenga, the person who killed Tom Mboya, was hanged or not, because the surest way would have been to hand over his body to his family, and the family said that they were given clothing and they were told their person had been killed. Of course, George Morara, the grandfather to this Morara Kabaso, uh, claimed to have seen him in Lusaka, Zambia, and he never lived to tell, because within 48 hours he was dead. So that is, it depends on the jurisdiction of whether your jurisdiction allows your next of kin to be given the body. Now, who is the next of kin? Kin is a relative. So they talk of next of kin. They say the next relative after you. The next relative after you. We have some people. Who. I was talking to somebody who was saying that okay, people like Cardinal Tunga. Cardinal Tunga, the father, had over 50 wives, and each 50 wives, 10 kids. That is around 500 people. So Cardinal Tunga's next of kin are 500 people. I used to stay with a young man who told me that he does not even, he used to be called, is it Joro or something, like Kikuyu name. He used to say that he was picked up as a chokora, and even the name he has was just an assumed name. He doesn't even know that with his tribe. And so he has no relatives, but he had married. So he said the only relatives he has, the first one is his wife, the second one are their kids, and lastly, relatives on his wife's side. Relatives on his wife's side. Now, a person like me and you, If something happens to us and you don't expect your brother-in-law going there and saying, "Oh, what? No, no, no." In fact, that is the 60th kin. But you'll find that in a case of this other person whom I'm saying, his next of kin is his wife, and after her, her relatives. So you find that the word is used next of kin, next of kin. You see, it's just like your neighbor. We have neighbors who you don't even talk in your house. If you talk in your house, your neighbor will hear. But we have other neighbors that is 3 kilometers away from you. So when they talk of your next in line, it depends on case to case. My story was a bit longer because I always believe it is lesson. It is a class for somebody to learn a lesson. Thank you.